Hey everyone, so glad to be alive now. This is series of live chats that we have all of us. So if you have something to kind of chat with me tonight, just post them in the comment section below. I'll be having this live chat with all of us here on our YouTube channel. So if you're new to our channel at Coaching Changes Lives, do hit the subscribe button and we'll stay tuned for more. Now today I want to kind of talk about something kind of interesting, what I call listening. And in fact, some of our friends here have been asking me, hey, Jedi, what books do you recommend that I read, or what books do you recommend for us to read to kind of improve our listening skills? So one of the books that I typically recommend, I think this is quite a good book to start off with, John Maxwell's The Complete 101 Collection, because it's quite a comprehensive book. There's quite a lot of things and insights for all of us to kind of try out. And so right now we're home at my little small space. I call this my little warm space, where we can have a little discussion about live communication, things like this. So on Jedi's Omakase, it's really about anything under the sun, under the heavens, under whatever that's on our hearts to discuss. So in time to come, we'll probably invite more and more people to come and join us in our live stream, and I hope to kind of engage with you even much more. Right. So if you're here new to our channel, do consider putting your thoughts inside here as well. And let's see if all of us are here. I think most of our friends are here as well. Okay, so come and join us on our live stream right now, and do post a comment and say hi. I'm here, um, and let me welcome some of our friends. Okay, so today I thought it would be kind of fun to talk a little bit about how can I become a better listener. And many of our friends out there have been asking, say, hey, Jedi, how do I become a better listener? I know questioning, I know how to ask proper questions, but how do I really become a better listener? Well, listening is one of the very important skill sets. And I think many of us are always wondering, am I a better listener? Have I been listening well to my friends? Or am I just listening to myself? Well, most of the time in conversations, we tend to listen to our own voice. How we want to come across as the right voice, how do we want to come across to be the perfect person in front of others, rather than just having a hard conversation. So I hope this little series of episodes really just comes from the heart, comes from the spirit, rather than overly trying to make it sound so nice and fanciful. So tonight, I want to talk to us a little bit about one particular portion from this book. So it's on how can I become a better listener? And I think if you want to find out more about this, it is found in, I think this is part two of John Maxwell's book. Um, it is this part here on, yep, Relationships 101, what every leader needs to know, right? So if you're here new to our channel, do consider hitting the subscribe button. So here it says here, treat every person as if he or she were the most important person in the world. And I think that's so important, right? Treat every person as if he or she were the most important person in the world. Now, too often, and especially as coaches, especially as leaders, we tend to become in a position where we are, I've arrived, I'm there, I have it all, and I should earn, I deserve the respect, I deserve the honesty, I deserve the, how people should treat me, I deserve, I deserve. So oftentimes we hear this language, I deserve this, I deserve that, I don't deserve this, I don't deserve that. Reality is this, right? No one deserves anything at all. But what people want is just having a genuine conversation with another human being. And I love this idea of this warm space that we can have, especially on YouTube channel. Many people feel that, hey, it's kind of scary to just talk to no one. But I really hope that the messages will go around the world telling people, hey, what is life really about? Life is not about just me trying to show how good I am. It's not about just trying to get more credentials, get more accolades. No, life is really about purpose. It's about purpose, providence. What we call and what we define as something that, how do we help others? How, yes, there's a certain level of sustenance for us, but how do we help go beyond us? Because think about this, what is life after death? If we're working so hard to achieve so much, and at the end of life we look back and say, what have I gained, but but I lose the very soul, very heart of it all. So I like how John says this, right? Treat every person as if he or she were the most important person of the world. So this kind of reminds me of Carl Rogers on UPR, unconditional positive regard. And I remember just yesterday we were having mastering coaching, our international coaching certification class for coaches all around the world who are taking the ACC, PCC, MCC journey. And I was just sharing with them. I said, hey, you know what? Unconditional positive regard sounds like simple, but it's actually quite very hard because we need to be conscious that we're not imposing our worldview on another person. We're not imposing our mindset. We're not imposing our own thoughts. What we want is to have this very clean, very clean, um, no judgment state, just being there with the person and just sharing with them. So I thought I just want to read to you some portions of this chapter, and I hope this inspires all of us. And you know, I welcome you to my room as we just talk a little bit about what life is, how life could be, and really much more in a deeper sense of engagement. It says here, really interesting. Agar Watson Howell once joked, "No man would listen to you talk if he didn't know it was his turn next." Very interesting, right? Unfortunately, that accurately describes the way too many people approach communication. They are too busy waiting for their turns to really listen to others. How true is that? We're too busy trying to, wait for our turn for for others to listen to us than for us to listen to others, right? So I like this, but too many people approach communication. They are too busy waiting for their turn to really listen to others. Now, post in the comment section below, just down here, and let me know your thoughts. Hey, Jedi, this is what I think about communication, and I think what is one of the most important barriers for communication in your minds? Share me your thoughts just down below here. What is the barriers to listening and communication? What do you think is what do you think for you it's the most common barriers to listening communication? I hope this shines up here in the chat box function somewhere here and in our live stream as well. I think that's would be very useful. Okay, so now, I think this is really interesting. It says this when Lyndon B. Johnson, who was a junior senator from Texas, he kept a sign on his office wall that says, "You ain't learning nothing when you're doing all the talking." Okay, you ain't learning nothing when you're doing all the talking. Love that. That is such a powerful quote. And Woodrow Wilson, the 28th American president, once said, "The year of the leader must ring with the voices of the people. The year of the leader must ring with the voices of the people." That is so powerful. And how many of us have considered that before? The year of the leader must ring with the voices of the people. Today, how many politicians out there are really caring for the people? They may say that they care, but do they really care? Do their actions, do their words, do their deeds, do their emotions truly convey that message? Because sometimes it's very easy to come out with a great speech, but the very actions, the very policies we put in place, the very feedback, the very comments that we make, are those comments sensitive? Are those comments timely? Or are we just, claiming to listen to the people, but we're not really listening to people, we're just listening to ourselves most of the time? And I think that's one of the most interesting elements in leadership. Many of the leadership elements out there, it's one that is just what I think it's true, what I think it's correct, but rather it's not really about what the people hear. Right, so I remember growing up in Singapore. One of the key challenge was in the political leadership in the space there, where uh, there's a kind of like dissonance, right? What do people feel? People want to be heard, but what the political leaders are not hearing is that they are hearing one level, right? And they're not really hearing at the level of where the people are. They claim to hear, but they're not really hearing. So think about this, right? In the front line, where during this pandemic, where everybody is really working hard and people are staying home, and it was really interesting one during recently one of the social media posts where one of the politicians actually took pictures of themselves at a swimming pool enjoying a swim, whereas many Singaporeans were not able to go to public pools because of the restrictions and all. So does that showcase a sensitivity, right? Or are the leaders also in solidarity with the people? So I think this point is so important that the year of the leader must ring with the voices of the people. Are we with the people or are we using people? We may say that we are not using people, but the very reality, the very actions, the very thoughts, the very words he use shows otherwise, right? Now, I think I love what John says here. This John Maxwell says this. He says this, right? Consider the benefits to listening. Listening shows respect. Listening shows respect. I think that's so powerful. A mistake that people often make in communicating is trying very hard to impress another person. So too often I hear this all the time online. The people saying, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna make some fanciful, 1 minute video and blah blah blah, and let's just bam bam bam." But you know what? I think one of the most important things, it's not about just trying to show off what you do know, but it's about having real conversations with people, having that down to earth, having that real conversations that really connect with hearts. Not conversations that just stays high there, high mighty out there, but conversations that really speaks to the heart, very plain conversations, right? And so they try to make themselves appear smart, witty, or entertaining, but if you really want to relate well to others, you have to be willing to focus on what they have to offer. Be impressed and interested, not impressive and interesting. Well, I love this, right? Be interested, not trying to be interesting. Be impressed, not impressive. So too often, I always hear this, that when leaders come into conversation, they say, "Wow, I'm a leader of blah blah blah. I've been leading organizations for blah blah blah." So trying to look and sound impressive, but I want to be impressed by the client. I want the client to teach me today, right? I want the person, as I'm communicating, to unveil a little bit about his world, how he sees the world. I think that's so important. So, poet philosopher Ralph Waldo Emerson acknowledged every man I meet is in some way my superior, and I can learn of him. Remember that and listen, and the lines of communication will really open up. Everyone that we meet, we can learn something from them. Young, old, whatever culture, whatever age gaps they're from, wherever they're from, I think those are so important areas. And I think too often today we are in a generation where it's like what I call YouTube content hooks, right? We get so interested about interesting, fleeting comment, but we never spend time to kind of consider and think. And I hope this channel allows us to give a space for all of us to have this deep conversation, to really kind of go deeper. To talk, to analyze, to kind of digest, to kind of spend time to really think about what that means for all of us, not just in a high and mighty way, but in a way that really connects hearts and spirits, right? So listening shows respect, listening builds relationship, and listening increases knowledge. And I think this is something that I really love so much. But I think one of the key important things, if I ever learn about listening, is treat another person how you like to be treated, right? If I want people to listen to me, I must first extend an arm to show that I'm listening to you, right? Not in the sense that, oh, I've arrived, I know it all, but really having that really down to earth, present communication, listening with intent, listening clearly, and just having that open conversation. I think that is so critical. So that's my little thoughts for today. And I would drop by here and there, just pop in, just to share little thoughts about what that really means to us. So I share me your thoughts as well. How can you be a better listener? Right. I think today we learn one thing. Right. It's to first to show that we really care for the person and treat the person as if. So I also like to say this, right? That um, let another person talk first. Be faster, be quick to listen and slow to answer. I think that is very, very important element. Okay, so I hope to see you in one of our upcoming videos and upcoming events at Coaching Changes Lives. We have a lot of exciting stuff for coaches, communicators, leaders all around the world, and I hope to see you really, really soon.